Hi y'all, today I'm making cookies and cream shortbread cookies. Yum, it is perfect with a cup of coffee. So I'm making them red and green today from green and red Oreos, but you can make them with regular sandwich cookies, whatever you like for whatever holiday, because you know they're made in every color. So y'all, let's get started. The first step in making cookies and cream shortbread is to soften the batter. Now, we can sit there on the counter and let it wait for 30 minutes. Who's got time for that? It's like watching paint dry. I have a microwave right here built into my cabinet. We're going to microwave both of these cold sticks of butter, 11 seconds. Then we're going to turn, and it'll be a total of 22 seconds. Listen for that. Okay, so ready? I'm going to turn, and 11 more seconds, and that will be perfectly softened. Let me tell you about another fun thing of these cookies is you can make them any flavor or color of they're chocolate sandwich cookies. It can be Oreos. It can be Bud's Best. You can make them Christmas with red and green. One of my favorite flavors is chocolate and peanut butter. This is just the regular cookies and cream flavor. Y'all know that Oreo has a different flavor for every season, so have fun with it and use whatever flavor you like. Look. Perfectly soft. See how that dents in? You did not have to wait 30 minutes for it to soften up. We're going to put 1 cup of softened butter in a bowl. Now, we're going to beat this just until it is creamy. It won't take but just a second or two to beat that until it is creamy. Then we add the sugar, and we need 2/3 cup of sugar, and I'm going to scoop that in there. This is a 1/3 cup measure, so if you're doing the math, we need another 1/3 cup of sugar. Okay, level that off. And now we have 2/3 cup sugar. Now we're going to beat this with a hand mixer about 2 minutes until it is light and fluffy. All right, so the next step, stir this down, and we're going to add flour. We need 2 cups of all-purpose flour. You definitely want to spoon lightly from the canister, and you can take a knife and just level that off. Maybe 2 cups. So we're going to spoon it again. And now the sugar, you can probably go ahead and dig into the canister, but with flour, you absolutely want to spoon lightly and level off. You'll pack too much flour in your cookie if you do that. So, now, stir this up. You can beat it with the electric mixer, or you can stir it up with your spoon. I'm going to just use the mixer here. It does mix it up a little bit better. You don't want to overmix this. Again, you're not want to make tough cookies. So, you can see it is just, it just comes together. That's as long as you want to beat it at this point. So I'm going to move this aside just a second and get a Ziploc bag. Okay, now we're going to crush our cookies. So right now we're going to make Christmas cookies and cream cookies. So I am going to use red, so it calls for 12 cookies, so I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 red, and 6 green. Now the green ones are mint, but the red ones are not. So if you're not a fan of mint, you could use all red or the regular flavor. So I'm going to put it in my Ziploc bag. You can also just break up the cookies like this. See, you don't want them crushed completely. You just want small pieces. But I do like to use a small glass, the bottom of a heavy bottomed glass, and just kind of give it a few whacks. And that seems to break it up enough for me. Or you can just break them up by hand. It's easier to take a snack piece that way, right? Okay, so now, remember we're not going to overbeat this. We're going to put these cookies in here. Now, let me show you a little food styling tip. I'm going to hold out a few of these. We'll put them in our 1/3 cup. I'm going to hold out a few of those because at the end, once I have the cookies on the platter, on the cookie sheet, before we bake them, we're going to put them on the top to make sure that they show up. So, I'm going to dump those in. Now, you're going to barely mix this. Otherwise, all of that, the powdery cookies will turn the dough gray. So we're just going to barely mix, get all the way to the bottom. And I'm going to turn my mixer on fast. See that little trick? Gets rid of the dough there. Get my spoon, and at this point you can mix it together. All right, now we're going to put a little flour on the surface. Move this over. I'm going to put a little flour on the surface, and we're going to roll them out. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Merry Christmas. All right, so just turn the cookie batter out. This is so fun, y'all. Remember, no eggs, no baking powder, and they're going to be buttery, crisp cookies. Get out of there. Okay, so with floured hands, I'm going to put a little bit of extra right there. With floured hands, I'm going to just bring it together. Don't knead it like a biscuit dough or yeast. We're just bringing it together like that. Now I'm going to take my rolling pin, put a little bit of flour on the rolling pin, sprinkle a little flour on. You don't want them to be too thick because you want the cookies to be crisp. And this is a forgiving dough. You can actually just kind of press as you do that. See how I'm kind of pressing and rolling at the same time? All right, and you can actually just use your fingers if you don't even have a rolling pin. So you can see these pieces of cookies and cream cookies. All righty. Let's take our 2-inch cutter. You can really make it any size you like, but this will give you the yield of 3 dozen. So we're just going to start over here on the edge, cut it out. See, we already have that. Come over here, shake a little, get a little more flour on there. Let's get that guy who's got a lot of Oreo in there. Let's get this one. See? How fun is that? Now, let's do the food styling trick. Remember, we saved a few. We're actually going to take another one. We might even open that cookie up. Place it right there. See, now it's really going to have red and green. And we're going to place them on the cookie sheet. Now, if the cookie dough sticks to this a little bit, don't worry at all. You can just scrape it off like this because you will be re-rolling this dough to get all the cookies. All right, so I will just go ahead and keep cutting these out and putting them on the baking sheet. So I've got about half of the dough put on 1.5 cookie sheets. So we have all of this dough left over. We're not going to waste it. We're going to take our little scraper cookie spatula and bring it into the center like this. Barely push it together. You don't want to overwork the dough. Okay, make it into a ball. I'm going to scrape the counter in case there's dough there that might make it stick. You put a little extra flour there so it won't stick. Now, we're just going to, I'm going to press it out at this point because it's not as much dough. See how easy that is to press out? There. Easy peasy. So you can even, see, pick it up and move it a little bit. So we're going to repeat and just cut the cookies out and put them on the cookie sheet. And then we're ready to bake them. So if there's a little bit of flour on the top of the cookies, you can just brush that flour off. Now don't forget the tip, the food styling tip, to break one into the green. There's the red. And then they will bake into that. All right, let's head over to the oven. So we're going to bake these at 300 degrees for about 21 minutes. You don't want them to be brown. They're just going to barely be brown around the edges. So I think they're perfect. Put them here on my silicone trivets to protect the counter. Right here. Now we've let them cool for 1 minute. And now we're just going to pick them up. This is my favorite cookie spatula because it's so thin and flexible. Look how easy that picks up. Now, these are not browned cookies like maybe chocolate chip cookies. Shortbread should just be barely, barely brown on the bottom. Still a little warm, but you can see. I'm just going to put these on the cooling rack and it'll be time to eat. Y'all, it's time to taste test. Yum. Y'all, look how crisp these are. Still a tiny bit warm. Yum. That is so good. These are great warm too. Let me try it with a cup of coffee. Whether you make these cookies and cream shortbread cookies, drink it with a glass of milk or a cup of coffee, you are going to love them. And if you want more Southern Shortcut recipes, don't forget to head over to gritsandgouda.com and forget to subscribe and ring the bell. Bye, y'all.